Welcome to the Nexus 10 unboxing plus first impressions. Today we're going to be looking at the new Google flagship 10-inch tablet that was just released. This 10-inch tablet is manufactured by Samsung and it is available in the 16 gig version for $399 and 32 gig for $499 in the Google Play Store. So let's go ahead and unbox this and get right into it. So let's just take the colorful sleeve off the outside. And you can see there it is very nice. Their packaging lately has been very good for brand recognition. And it comes with Android 4.2 stock. If you don't know what a Nexus device is, it is a Google reference device. So you will get all your updates in a timely manner as soon as Google puts it out. And this is also released in conjunction with the Nexus 4, which is their new flagship smartphone. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Nexus 10. Let's go ahead and take it out. And on first impression, you can see that it is fairly thin and pretty light for how big the tablet is. So let's go ahead and put this to the side. I really can't wait. Let's just go ahead and boot it up. And we'll let that boot up on the side while we look at what's in the box. Okay, you can see that famous Nexus logo right there. So what we'll do is take a look at the box. Very nice packaging, by the way. We got a quick start guide here for you if you need to know how to use the Nexus 10 and you've never used a Nexus device before. And we have a micro USB to USB cable for charging and data. And there is also your warranty information. Now let's take a look at this charging brick that comes with the Nexus 10. And it is wrapped fully in plastic, but you can see that's a little bit different than what we're used to seeing. But what you can see here is there's another adapter there, so it makes it easier for you to have different adapters for you to travel, and it will come with the plug for your respective country. So that's pretty cool as well that they've changed that power brick. But if you've had any kind of international version of any kind of Samsung phone, such as the Galaxy S3 and Galaxy Note 2, and if you have the UK spec or anything like that, these chargers are fairly familiar to consumers that have bought unlocked devices before. So all you do is just stick this in there and it clicks in and you just go ahead and plug that into the wall. There's a USB connection. So that is pretty cool. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and set this aside and take a look at the device. Now the showstopper of this Nexus 10 is the new 10-inch 2560 by 1600 resolution screen with 300 pixels per inch. Now this is even higher density than the iPad, which we're going to go ahead and take a look at right now. But we'll do some further testing to see if this screen is better or looks better than the iPad Retina display. Now let's take a look at how these compare, and you can see how wide the Nexus 10 is in comparison to the 9.7 inch iPad with Retina display. So it's got a widescreen resolution instead of the 4.3, and you see the 1.9 megapixel front camera right there. But if you look at the thinness though, the Nexus 10 is very thin. You can tell it's tapered on the edges though, so it gives it a more thin look than it is, but it is definitely a thin tablet. So let's take a look at comparison with the famous Nexus 7, and you can see how much smaller the Nexus 7 is than this Nexus 10. This Nexus 10 tablet is a very large tablet for a 10-inch screen. And you can see how much thinner the Nexus 10 is than the Nexus 7 is. The Nexus 10 in form factor reminds me of the Motorola Zoom. If you knew anything about that, or if you've used the Motorola Zoom, it has the same aspect ratio. Now here is the iPad mini in comparison, and you can see how much bigger that is. And the iPad mini is extremely thin, but you can see that the Nexus 10 does fairly well on thinness. And that's a pretty good comparison there. So you can just get an idea of how slim and how well designed this Nexus 10 is. So let's take the plastic off the back of this, and this is being powered by the new Exynos dual core made by Samsung, Cortex A15 based Mali 604 graphics with 2 gigabytes of RAM. Now the back is a soft touch plastic, not metal, but it feels pretty soft and it doesn't feel too cheap. We'll do some further testing on that though. And on the back you'll see a microphone, 5 megapixel camera with the LED flash. And on the top you'll see a power button there, volume rocker switches. And let's go to the other side. You will see a HDMI out there, so you can output that to your TV. And on the bottom you'll see the pogo pins, so hopefully they'll bring out some cool adapters or docks for this. And on the other side you'll see the micro USB and the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. So fairly standard there, but it's nice that they included the HDMI. Now this back strip up top peels off. And if you've ever had a Samsung device before, you're pretty familiar with some flimsy plastic. So they've got a little notch there and you pull this off and you can see how flimsy this is. And basically what this is for the new smart cover that's coming out for it. It attaches to this part and it becomes a part of the device, which I like, and I'm really looking forward to testing that out when they bring the covers out. So I'll do a separate review and unboxing of that as well. But you can see this is very similar to those Samsung devices where you're going to have to kind of push those through and you'll hear all the clicks go through. And see the back finish there? That is very similar to the Nexus 7 back. So they're trying to carry over some design language for the Nexus devices this year. Upon first inspection of the screen is extremely glossy. And I know most devices, most tablets are glossy anyway, but this seems to be a little bit extra glossy. And it also features vibration and haptic feedback, which is nice. A lot of tablets don't feature vibration, so I really appreciate them adding this on. But let's go ahead and take a look at the browser real quick, and it loads up fairly quickly. This is a Wi-Fi only device, by the way. No 3G, HSPA Plus, or LTE or anything on these devices yet as the time of this video. But you can see that the pinch to zoom is nice, and you can see how crisp that text is, and it looks great. And upon first inspection, this is a very, very good screen so far. Now, what's also awesome is they have a multicolored notification light on the bottom. And that seems to be a Nexus trait, but I really like that and I appreciate that it's multiple colors as well. But you can see here that this screen is a fingerprint magnet. I've only used this thing now for about 30 minutes this morning while I was just catching up on my emails and everything. And you can see on the back as well, let me get this to focus well, but the back is also a fingerprint magnet. It's fairly easy to clean off, but you will notice it gets smudgy very quickly, and that is going to be a problem for some people if they don't like that finish, but you can just wipe it off. But I just wanted to show you how many fingerprints actually get picked up by this thing. So it looks, just want you to know, if you're one of those people that don't like fingerprint magnet devices, then this is the one to stay away from. Now, just looking more at the screen here, just wanted to show you some close-ups. This screen is very, very nice, and it is definitely on par or better than the Retina display on the iPad 3 and iPad 4th generation. And the color saturation is very, very nice. When you're looking at pictures, they look almost ultra realistic. They look very, very good. Now, one of the problems that some people might have is just how long it is in the portrait mode. Some people might like that because they can see more. It feels like you're reading maybe a newspaper or something. It's that long. Now, you can hold it in one hand and it's fairly comfortable, but I think some people might have a problem with just how wide and how long this tablet is. And you can see that in the landscape that it's kind of restricted in that area. But one thing I've noticed so far is maybe it's just a Chrome browser, but the touch response is not as good as I would imagine, and the scrolling's a little bit laggy. But I've noticed that in Nexus 7 as well, and some of the other YouTube apps and things like that, the scrolling is just fine. And another thing that I've seen is the home button is very soft. It doesn't have the tactile response of the volume rocker switches. So when you hit it, it's real soft and it feels like it's not going to come on. But I just wanted you to be aware of that. It's kind of like the HTC devices on their home buttons. And the speakers are very long, but they're not as loud as you would imagine them to be, but they sound good. But here is the camera, and you can see photosphere is here, panorama and everything. But you can see that new focus system, and this camera app is pretty cool. You can put your finger anywhere and get to those shortcuts. Sorry for the shakiness here, but also there's a cool zoom system here where you just pinch the zoom and you can kind of blow up the pictures there. Of course, your picture quality will be degraded from the zoom, but that's a pretty cool way to do it. It's not a new concept, but I like the animation that is on there. It also comes with a 1.9 megapixel front-facing camera for Hangouts and Skype. And here is the image there, and we'll definitely test out the image quality. Now, this also features NFC, GPS, compass, barometer, all that stuff that has been on the past Nexus tablet devices. So what do you guys think about this Nexus 10? Are you guys going to get one? And on inspection, this is very quick. Mostly like any Nexus device, since it's running stock Android. You can see here animations flicking, everything is very, very quick. Now the YouTube, I definitely like this. It's gone back to the honeycomb look, and I've always enjoyed this where it goes into like the TV sphere mode. I really like this, and it looks really good on this large high resolution display, and it makes a video experience very, very nice. And if you like this widescreen layout of a tablet, you're really going to enjoy this tablet. And here's one of my videos here, and in full screen, it makes YouTube watching very enjoyable. And I'm sure that videos, movies, TV shows will be awesome to watch on this brand new screen. So do you guys have any questions about the Nexus 10? I will definitely be doing a full review. And whenever I get the Nexus 4, I'll do the same. Were you guys able to order one? Did Google Wallet crash on you on this one as well? Let me know in the comments below. Please subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up on this, and I appreciate every view, and thank you for your support.